Hello, this is Group 10 presenting Unit 10, which talks about the evaluation of the educational program. The course code is DED 504. Introduction to Educational Administration and Planning, supervised by Dr. Ebod Patrick Ashu. This unit has two key elements: the educational resources that need to be evaluated and the tools which can enable a successful evaluation process. This unit is to be presented by myself, Abula Odette, and my group mate, Benzani Zita. To begin, we are going to look at evaluation. What is evaluation? Evaluation is simply determining the extent to which an individual or an administration is succeeding in achieving their set goals and objectives. Evaluation is a very important aspect in every administrative process. In everything you do in life, you must stop at a certain point to evaluate. The educational sector is not an exception. As an educational administrator, you must stop in the lines of your duties to check progress, to evaluate. Now, in evaluating in an educational process, there are very many aspects or resources which need or requires evaluation. But what are some of those key aspects or resources which must be evaluated to ensure the successful running of an educational program? The first of those resources is the curriculum. The curriculum, to me, is the core of the educational system. As an educational administrator, you must evaluate to ensure that the content which is given out to the students is the right content. The teachers are using the right teaching methods to dish out this content to the students. In dishing out this content, the right didactic materials are used. Teaching is a complex process. You ensure that the teachers that are involved in the teaching process are well trained and have the complex process. You ensure that the teachers that are involved in the teaching process are well trained and have the required knowledge and status to teach the students in their care. By so doing, you ensure that the curriculum is well exploited. When this aspect is checked, as an administrator, you will notice where there are loopholes or lapses, and then you will understand where to come in and try to fill some of these lapses in order to have a successful program. Furthermore, another key resource which can be evaluated is the relationships and attitudes. By relationships and attitudes, you are trying to check the relationship between the students and the students and the administration, the students and the staff and the staff, the staff and the administration. Attitudes are very complex. This is a very sentimental or very pertinent aspect of evaluation in the educational process, because you are dealing with different people from different backgrounds. So it is always very important to crucially evaluate this aspect in order to understand the different kind of people that exist in your educational environment. As an educational administrator, you should know your students. You should know the level of students you have. Are the students collaborative? Are the students self-disciplined? Do they understand what it means to be in an educational environment? Do we have students who skip school? Do we have students who find pleasure in loitering around the school during school hours? Coming on to the staff, you should be able to master your staff. As an administrator, you know the kind of staff you have. You ensure that there is strict collaboration between your staff. Your staff work together for the good of the children. They are always ready to tolerate each other and consult each other when need arises in order to give the children the right content they deserve. Now, as an administrator, it doesn't end there. You have to always evaluate yourself. Are you a good administrator? What kind of administrator are you? Are you a leader who records so many What kind of administrator are you? Are you a leader who records so many complaints from your staff and from your students? Are you that leader who makes the working environment so uncomfortable for both the students and the staff? Are you that leader who makes your staff and your students to work or to learn in a very comfortable environment? Once you check all these aspects, you will be able to understand your working environment. You will be able to work on yourself, help your staff to work on themselves, and help them to work on the students that have been entrusted into their care. Another very pertinent point or resource which can be evaluated in the educational process is the relationship between the school and the community. The school cannot function without the community, and vice versa. The school is found within the community. Therefore, they coexist. The two need each other. But as an administrator, you have to check at intervals to ensure that there is a smooth and good relationship between the school and the community. You are trying to check what are those positive aspects of the community that are beneficial to the school. What is the positive impact that the community is instilling to the school? Do we have friendly parents when they come around to sort issues about their children? Or we have just hostile parents who just look down on the teachers each time they come around the school? Are your teachers receptive to parents when they come around for issues concerning themselves and their children? Or your teachers are very unfriendly and very unreceptive? Those are some of the aspects you are trying to check as far as the community and the school are concerned. When you check this or evaluate these aspects, you will be able to understand where the problem lies. And then you will be able to get the community elders together. You try to have a dialogue with them, and then you help them build a good relationship with the staff, which automatically is going to help the educational environment to be successful. Again, another important aspect in the educational program which needs to be compared is you can go ahead and carry out a comparative study of other schools. You can move around the schools around your area and try to compare other schools to your school. What are some of the decisions to your school? What are some of the decisions that the schools are taking that you don't take? How do they handle some of the sensitive problems or issues that come up within their school? You try to get them involved in many activities, especially social activities with your own school, in order for them to build a good collaborative spirit. By so doing, you are comparing the institutions. You will try to see where you have been going wrong, and you will make sure that you ameliorate. You can only do this successfully if you are able to compare your institution with others. And you can successfully do this when you let your school open to ideas from other schools. Now, as an educational administrator, when can you evaluate? Evaluation is an ongoing process. As an educational administrator, you evaluate all the time. There are evaluations that come up weekly, monthly, termly, and even yearly. You can do oral evaluations. You can do written tests. You can question some students. You can question some members of staff, members of the community, in order to get the resources or the materials that you need, the information that you need to work on your evaluation process. A successful evaluation program can only be carried out with the use of evaluation tools. Therefore, my group mate is going to throw more light on the important evaluation tools that can help an administrator carry out a successful administrative process. Thank you.
Evaluation tools. As earlier mentioned by my group mate, evaluation involves a lot of subjective judgment. Some tools that can be used for evaluation are observation, discussion, questionnaires, study of school record, task and examination, and comparative study. Now, if you want to use observation as an evaluation tool, you have to provide direct evidence. You could do a simple and systematic observation of people, situations, and activities in a school. You could observe certain curricular aspect of the school like teaching and learning of students if it is effective to provide evidence and classroom routines to know if what the teachers are teaching is right. What kind of technology are the teachers using? What new knowledge are the teachers teaching the children? If that knowledge is relevant for the children. And again, in observation, you could also observe relationships in school. For example, is the environment hostile or friendly to the children? Are the children always fighting in school? Is the relationship among teachers cordial? And in observation, you don't do without record. You have to keep record of all what you've observed. Now we move to discussion. Discussion is another tool used for evaluation. Discussion could be done formally and informally. Informally, you could ask a group of students about their lesson. This is not done to find fault. You don't do this to find fault of what the children are doing. You are doing this to be empathetic about the children's problem. And formally, you could do a evaluation on teachers by asking them questions during a staff meeting to find out if they have difficulties in achieving their teaching goals. And you will discover there that some teachers have problem with didactic materials. They have difficulties in teaching. Some use teaching methods and techniques that others don't even know, which they have to learn. And here we move to the third aspect of evaluation tool, which is questionnaires. You could construct questionnaires of various aspects of the school program. For example, by obtaining information about teaching effectiveness, evaluating student attitude towards particular aspects like school discipline, principals, leadership style, in formulating your questionnaires, you should be very, very skillful and objective, and it should only include relevant information. We move to another aspect of evaluation tools, which is study of school record. This will help reveal relevant information about school effectiveness. For example, you go through things like the syllabus, the scheme of work, teacher's lesson note. By doing this, you compare the teacher's lesson note with the student's book to see if it is in line and to know what the teacher is teaching, because some teachers are teaching out of context. And with this, you also keep record. We move now to tax and examination. These are very, very good source to evaluate the school curricular activities. They have 4 indications of student academic progress. Yes, you should study the performance of the student in tests and exams alongside the teacher's comments, the parents' comment, the employers, and the society as a whole, because every society rely on a positive result of the children to judge the school performance. We move to comparative study. It's another way of evaluating evaluating tools. Here, you have to study other schools through a combination of tools. For example, through a visit. Through a visit, you could conduct observation. You could conduct discussion formally and informally. You could use questionnaires. You could do a study of their school record to know information, useful information about a particular school or the school that you visit at the moment. Now we move to problems faced during evaluation. We know that human beings are complex. You going to do an evaluation in a school, you will meet complex human beings with attitude problems. Some you will pose questions and they will not answer the way they are supposed to answer because of the problem of communication. Another problem you will face is there is too much work doing evaluation. You might not be able to finish your evaluation in a school because there is too much work. So here you have to delegate the use of another staff who is experienced too. Another problem is constructing your questionnaires. In constructing your questionnaires, you have to be very direct and skillful. And if you lack this aspect, you have to contact the assist. You have to search the assistant of a of an experienced person to help you. We go now to school administration. In school administration, trying to observe how effective their teachers are, he has to consider some following factors. For example, the mastery of the subject matter, the ability of the teacher to organize and implement her materials, the ability to communicate, the ability to be able to solve the problem of student and the volume of the problem. This is important. You let the teacher know that you are conducting this kind of evaluation. Thank you.